2012 is one of the most ambitious and promising years in humanity, especially for cinema junkies and gaming industry. People will watch films like Prometheus, Dark Knight Rises, The Avengers, Hobbit, and gaming community will be able to play such anticipated games like Halo 4, Darksiders 2, Sleeping Dogs, Mass Effect 3, Ghost Recon Future Soldier. Wait, what is that? Seriously? Oh yeah, right. This is also the year when gaming community faced their most hidden fears when this happened. And also this. And finally this. Oh come on everybody, we all knew that Black Ops 2 will suck. Well anyway, why am I starting this discussion, you may ask me? Because I think it's about time for me to show you guys what gaming community stands right now for. I'm going to talk about all major game companies and publishers and point out their good things and their flaws. Yes, BioWare, I'm looking at you right now. But before I start bitching about Mass Effect 3 or anything like it, I want to talk about branches of gaming community who are good and who are evil and even neutral ones. But I must also point out next thing. This is only my opinion and you under no circumstances must agree with all I say. You may also agree if our visions are same or whatever you call it. So without any delay, let's talk about sides. Part 1. Sides of gaming community and their goals. There are not many of them as whole gaming community, let's divide them into 3 subsections. They are gamers, like me. Next one are reviewers, they are neutral guys. You may ask why, well I'll point out later. And finally we have third side, the publishers, like EA Games, Ubisoft, you name it. So what's gamers' goal as a whole? Buy games, enjoy them, rate them, talk about them. In 2 words, just play the game. Like myself, I always buy new games and try to enjoy them as much as I can. If I like them very much, I talk about them with my friends and even recommend them or even write a review about them on Metacritic and Steam. Sounds simple, right? Well, let's talk about second side, reviewers. Their main goal is to participate in different gaming conferences and review games before their official release. So we, gamers, will have an idea what to expect from this game and make our final choice whether to buy it or not. Alas, not all reviewers are honest or kind. The main problem is that sometimes reviewers give some games score that they don't actually deserve to have. And that leads to false marketing and fraud. Well, I wouldn't like to get fraud by my favorite reviewer telling me that the game is awesome / sucks, and in the end I find the opposite. That's called false advertising. If that's the case, I would rather listen to these guys, because they're honest and don't afraid to show their opinion, and most importantly, they won't take bribery from anyone. And here comes final third side, the publishers. Their ultimate goal is to earn this. Yes, that's right, they don't need this or this. They just want to earn as much money as possible so their company won't get bankrupt. Well, I understand that. If for example I ran a public property or something else, I will try to do anything possible to keep my company working without undergoing any financial problems. But our most beloved publishers, well, let's say they overact a little bit and make things sometimes worse than they can rather be. So in summary, you may wonder, who wins in this battle? Well, the answer is kinda tricky one, because I don't know for sure. We win if we enjoy our game, publishers win because they earn money, and reviewers, well, they also win because they are bribed by publishers most of the time. Yeah, especially these guys. Winner here is of course publishers, because they earn tons of money because we pay for their products. Right now I talked about ultimate goals of 3 sides. Now let's take a look at why we love our publishers and developers so much and why we hate them at the same time. Part 2. Tasteful Understanded Nerd Rage. Let's take EA Games, or full name Electronic Arts, my #1 game publisher of all time. It may sound weird, but even though there's a lot of hate towards this company, not mentioning it won this particular award. But I still love them. Maybe because they have rights on some of my favorite games, or maybe because they are the best at their job, but there are a lot of negative response to them, and I agree with some of them, and with some I don't fully agree. You may call me a brainwashed or fanboy, but you must also understand, if it weren't for EA, we won't see our favorite game franchise at all. They invented them, they bought some good developers and made them to make great games. And I like them for this. But we also know that this tiny little horrible fact that there's also a bad side in every major game company. The first and most notable, the lack of PC community and DLCs. Yes, that's right. EA aren't fond of PC at all, they just don't like it. They specialize mostly on consoles because they're cheap and easy to operate. The second major flaw in EA is that if game sells good enough, they make a sequel to it. Of course, that's generic enough, but wait, there's more! If second game sold good enough, they'll make another sequel, and on and on. That's called milking franchise. Don't believe me? Check out how many FIFA games they have made, or how many Battlefield games they have made. If the franchise is good enough, they will continue to milk it until community, that's us, will get tired of it and will move on to something else. I have no problem with milking franchises, but damn it guys, if you want to make sequels to popular games, give them at least some development time, like 2 or 3 years at least, so the next game will be better. Don't make every new game every new year, we can't afford it. We can't buy them always on our hard-earned cash just to get bitch slapped because of you. I mean, the problem is because of such small time and exactly a year after release, it's not much. The previous game isn't old enough to get a new sequel. Take an example of Crysis 3 and Battlefield 2, both announced already and will be released in 2013. And I have no hope that they will be better than previous titles until I see some fresh footage. But because we live in such dark times and developers are becoming lazy and boring each year, seems like we have no other choice but to get same game over and over. The third and final flaw in EA and other major game companies is DLC. Yep, that's right. We all like them, but pay for them $20? Are you out of your mind? You want to tell me that Protein DLC for Mass Effect 3 was made after game went gold by other team? Joke's on you suckers, it was on disc already and you just deny clear facts because community is smarter than you. I'm willing to pay for DLC if it's decent enough and has something good in it. But day one DLC or DLC which adds skins, new clothes or even guns, those things should be free because the world fans buy your game for $60. That's very outrageous and I hate when developers do such things. Talking about EA, they had some major problems in later years. Oh yes, I'm talking about this. And this. Seriously? You call this an epic end for Tiberium franchise? This is not even close to CNC game I got used to. This is a whole different game, but because it's such pain to talk about, I'll try to talk about this. Son of a... Why BioWare? You used to be so good in RPG and storytelling, and now you give me this? This is such an ungrateful move to your devout fans. I can't even find the right word for this. I mean, okay if you fail with Dragon Age 2, it sucked and it wasn't like previous game. But come on! We all wait for epic conclusion for Mass Effect franchise. We all knew it will involve sacrifice. We all knew that our Shepard will die in the end, as the hero of Galaxy. But instead of Lord of the Rings ending, we get this? You just outdone yourself. This is how not a single human being must end good trilogy of ending at all. The ending of Mass Effect 3 starts such a great fire that most of community start petitions to help some children and other stuff. But mostly BioWare forces were set on fire and rage. People weren't satisfied with the ending at all. But they also found out that game ending could be a fake one, and real ending was scrapped because some people have found it in the internet, so BioWare tried to buy some time to fix it later. But we had to wait till July to see BioWare to release the extended cut to fix the end of their beloved franchise. Some fans praised new ending, and others like me still weren't satisfied. The best part of the failure by our face was that they started to give community worthless free DLC for multiplayer. Although it wasn't as good as we all thought, but still was fun to play. And after the release of Extended Cut, BioWare grew some balls and once again started to charge us for the DLC, cause they thought that their new ending was work of art. Let me tell you guys something. This is not art. I personally think that to make a decent now experience in Mass Effect franchise, BioWare must reboot it and make it more reasonable and without any plot holes, because there are a lot of them. Anyway, after failure with Mass Effect 3, many people lost faith in BioWare. I sure did, and I won't buy Dragon Age 3 or anything else from them until I see real reviews made by gamers, not by BioWare official reviewers. And here is EA in a nutshell. They can be good guys sometimes, and sometimes they can act like dicks. But still I love them, and I will continue to support them as far as I can, but BioWare doesn't exist for me anymore. They are gone for good, and will never be the same. Part 3. Ubisoft and their war against piracy. We all love Ubisoft for their decent games like Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, and some other stuff like Rayman. But Ubisoft are the ones who gave us such amazing games from Tom Clancy label, like Rainbow Six, Splinter Cell, Hoax, End War, Ghost Recon Future Soldier. Oh, not you again! Anyway, talking about Ubisoft policy, they are full of copyright stuff and their motto, Stop the Pirates. That's right, in 2 words they are against piracy. They hate so much that they made special DRM called Uplay for PC owners. It was meant to stop gamers from downloading games using torrents and make them buy licensed games via retail store or official Ubi store. Their launch title for Uplay began with Assassin's Creed 2 back in 2010, which sold millions and was critically acclaimed by both reviewers and gamers alike. Ubisoft thought that using Uplay will encourage people to buy games instead of just downloading them for free. But fun fact, Uplay was cracked in a week after release by hackers. So Uplay isn't such a good thing to protect from pirates. Jokes on you, Ubisoft. But my biggest rage was back in the end of June when promised PC port for Ghost Recon Future Soldier was released, month after console version. We were promised that the PC version will be better and very optimized for future PCs. But sad fact, it wasn't. There were a lot of customers who later were so sad by final product that they asked Ubisoft to return their money back. The PC port was so bad and unplayable, nobody was satisfied, even me was sad by this fact, that I couldn't play Call of with my friends because I will get this. I remember back when they released Splinter Cell Conviction on PC, which also was bad from the beginning. No, the game was fine by itself, it was something new for franchise, but I wasn't satisfied with scope approach and connection. It was so bad that people had to have each other on friend list to be able to join each other, and that was frustrating. But here things are much worse. Game is unplayable and it requires Ubisoft to make 4 patches in 2 months to make it playable, and guess what? It still doesn't work. That's the attitude the PC community Ubisoft has here. And I want to point out very quickly, I do not represent PC community or console ones. I represent gamers and gaming community as a whole one, because we're all equal to each other. And we have our own methods to play games. Some use consoles, others use PC, but we all play, that's the main thing, and I want people to remember it. To conclude this part, I have no idea how Splinter Cell Blacklist will come out for PC. Will it be glitchy and unplayable like previous 2 Tom Clancy titles? I don't know, so we have to wait and see for ourselves. Part 4. Activision and Greedy Life of Bobby Kotick. Now I know what you're all thinking about. You think I'm going to rant about Call of Duty franchise, why it sucks after Modern Warfare 2, and why it's community full of 12-year-old kids who like to scream their lines during their game on multiplayer? You think I'm going to rant about new so-called innovation Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which will have no linear story and your actions will have impact on whole story? You think I will rant about their poor marketing for Black Ops 2 as they asked this guy to promote their new killstreak in multiplayer and probably in campaign? You think I'm going to rant about Bobby Kotick, who is a fag and cares only to earn cash and eat burgers at McDonald's? Well, fuck you then, I won't do it. In fact, If they will state this course for their franchise, I'll be satisfied, cause it won't have any counterparts and there won't be any flame wars. So actually I want Activision not to change your formula, leave it as it is. It's broken, it's full of whiny breath, I am fine with that. I will play something else and much better than this. Although I must admit that Activision holds the rights for Marvel games and Transformers. So I can hate them and respect them at the same time, but only because of this. Part 5. Capcom and ways to butcher beloved franchises. Do you remember what Resident Evil used to be? Well, I still remember it. It was A. Scary, B. Innovative, C. Scary. Oh wait, I said it already, but my point is it was like this. And now it's this.
Kirk, come in! The locals are hostile! The gate is sealed, and we're trapped! We need backup, and we need it right now!
Roger that. Just sit tight. I'm on my way.
Did you hear that, Sheva? Help's on the way.
Got it! I just hope he gets here quick.
Way to butcher your franchise, Capcom. Good work. There are no other words to describe how angry fans are right now. Very low percent of people who like this franchise and others here is for new changes. You remove very important aspect of this game. It's not about gameplay, it's not about the story, it's about this. I never play games because they didn't suit me. I prefer movies to watch, although they didn't quite follow the formula. It wasn't my thing to play, I preferred other games, but still I find very sad how fans are raging about new changes, and now we wait for Resident Evil 6 to come out. Will it be good? I don't know. Also, same thing goes to reboot a famous franchise Devil May Cry. I only played the second game on my PS2, and I enjoyed it very much, but I never touched other titles. Maybe because I wasn't fond of hack and slash back then, or maybe anime stuff didn't bother me so much. But boy, seeing this reboot, it crushed my heart. Maybe I am overacting about this, but ask others and they'll tell you probably the same thing. But most notably, Capcom got its very bad reputation because they started to release same game but only with all DLCs a year later after original came out. Well, that's outrageous. Why we must buy this title if exactly in a year it will be re-released with new price with all DLC in it? And goes to Resident Evil 5, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Street Fighter 4. I never played them, but I heard all this negative stuff about it. And I feel bad for people who bought original games. So here it is in a nutshell. Capcom has decent games, but their attitude to gamers is horrific. Release the game and a year later released again, but with all DLC on single disc. By the way, the term DLC is no longer should be known as downloadable content. It's now officially called disc lock content. Just to clarify everything. But if you don't believe me, listen to my friend who is customer to Capcom games and is ungrateful to what they do.
Hello everyone, this is Reaper from Pootis, and today I'll be talking about the company named Capcom. They are known mostly for their great license like Resident Evil, Street Fighter. Well, they've made a big bunch of great games, but there's also a very bad side about this company that I'm very tired of seeing, and I'm sure all the gaming community is already very tired of seeing this. It's about their way of re-releasing games that they already made. Like, you know, they've made Street Fighter 4, after that they released Super Street Fighter 4, and after that Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. And when they get to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they made another version, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And it was a full price game, $40, and there was no way for the Capcom Ultimate, for the basic game to upgrade their games to Ultimate Edition. They had to buy the full game again. I think Capcom is totally screwing gamers right now with their policy about selling games. They don't offer complete games anymore. They sell a basic game from which you have to buy upgrades, or you have to buy the remake the year after. So every time you buy a Capcom game, you don't get to have the complete experience. You have to buy lots of DLC, and from what I've seen on their on the PlayStation Store, there's tons and tons of DLC for every of the games, and most of the time they are overpriced. They don't offer very good quality content for your money, and worst of all is that most of them are only retextures. They like costumes and aesthetics. Usually, back in time, we get to unlock those kind of contents by playing through the game, and we had to unlock them by finishing the game or doing special events. But from now on, you'll have to pay those costumes at a high price. Come on, really, Capcom? How can you expect to keep a loyal fan base if you keep screwing them like that? And right now, I think the worst mistake they are doing is with the Resident Evil franchise. The first Resident Evil were more survival horror, puzzling games that you didn't add much ammo, so you had to be very careful and you had to be very strategic about how to use your items. And when I see the new videos for Resident Evil 6, I see a Call of Duty with zombies. This is not the Resident Evil I remind myself of. This is not the Resident Evil I grew up with. This is just a Resident Evil for casual, younger gamers. They started with a great license and now they're destroying it. It's very, very disappointing. And the problem with Capcom is that they're basically destroying every of their license. They're losing their fan base with there are too many DLC, and they are changing every single of their license. Like Devil May Cry, they're making a reboot, and actually this reboot doesn't look good at all. The main fan base of the Devil May Cry license are very disappointed by this new remake. I think if Capcom are to survive against the competition, they must listen to their fans and stop screwing with them, or else they will disappear. There will be no more Resident Evil, no more Capcom versus Marvel vs. Capcom, sorry, and there will be no more Devil May Cry, no more Street Fighter, no more nothing else. This was Reaper von Pootis, and I'm doing my best to keep you informed. Thank you.
Part 6. Bethesda and Todd Howard ultimate goal of laziness. Here's an interesting story for you to chew on. Back when Elder Scrolls V Skyrim was released, it was full of glitches, both on console and PC, but nevertheless, people still played it. On VGA 2011 game received 2 awards as Game of the Year and Best RPG, even though game was full of glitches. Bethesda are fond of making interesting games, but also fond of making glitchy as hell. At least it still was playable. And to be honest here, glitches are funny. But were all people satisfied with Skyrim?
You know, we're always moving our own technology forward. So we rewrote all the graphics and gameplay engine. We're just going to get a lot more detail on the screen.
I work for Bellathor.
Better AI. Dragons. But we felt at the end of the day, there's a lot of power left in these systems. Obviously the PC version looks better. You know, it has higher textures, it can run much higher resolution, a lot of other graphical features. It makes a difference in the quality of the content.
Yeah. Fun fact is that Bethesda and Valve decided to integrate Steam Workshop for Skyrim, so people could make some different mods for it. And you know what? There are about millions of these mods and other stuff which makes Skyrim more epic than it was back at release. Bottom line here, community is better than developers. They just confirmed it. Crazy, I know, but still it's true. Even when Todd Howard showed on DICE press conference one interesting clip with various things developers made for game but weren't included in final release, it's already stating the fact that they are just lazy to make something awesome, or the schedule didn't allow them to add some stuff. So it was up to community to fix some problems and improve game mechanics. And I have this weird feeling that I play a game made by random people all over the world, not by Bethesda themselves. Even though they made some good games in past, and they still gonna make others like Dishonored and publish Doom 3 BFG edition and maybe later Fallout 4. And I'm looking forward to both of them. My biggest concern is that if Bethesda is so lazy to make their games, why won't they just give opportunity to random people to make it better and more epic? That would be awesome. Part 7. No, I'm not done yet. THQ and good stuff. Here's the thing about THQ. I know they made some bad things. I can't quite say which ones, but still. They are having financial problems right now, and they need help, so they took time and made sure that video games will publish Darksiders later. And guess what? It turned out just great, minus some graphic problems, but still, it's top-notch game and I really liked every single minute of it. It was a true sequel and much better in terms of RPG elements and gameplay. That's how many developers must do with their games. If they know it's not good, push release date as much as needed to make sure the game will be better at release. And don't worry about us, we'll find something else to play. Just do your job to polish game and make it better. Because they take so much time on Metro sequel, I have no doubts it will turn out just fine. Part 8. Square Enix new Hitman game. Well, this particular topic not long enough, and I just want to point out major flaws and major wins in it. It's been 6 years since last Hitman game, and there are a lot of speculation that it was in development state and others said that it won't come out at all. But nevertheless, IO Interactive announced us back in 2011 that Bolt Killer will make comeback in 2012. But the changes that game undergone were horrible. As they showed first gameplay clip, it was a phenomenon, but the things they changed were horrible. It felt like Ubisoft's Splinter Cell Conviction game just with a different guy. Adding in-game Sixth Sense or Eagle Vision like in Assassin's Creed and giving him new voice actor and removing original composer of series was a very bad move. Till later days I didn't even know who was the voice of Hitman, but as time passed and I learned from their horrible mistake, they asked original actor David Bateson to return and make his work again. And that was the very best thing they did after minor changes. We now know that the game will succeed. That's how you don't screw up with franchise. The good things aside that the original voice actor is back, game looks gorgeous, it will have a lot of improvements and will have a lot of replayability. That's all what we need for a Hitman game. Part 9. Indie guys. Well, being indie developer is a heck of a job, and I agree that you have limited access and support. But you have a smart head and good friends, you'll succeed at any task. So here you go, Limbo, Binding of Isaac, Minecraft, Super Meat Boy, need I say more? These games beat any major company all the time. They're made by devoted guys who don't need big cash or anything like that. They just have this passion to make good game. And they succeed in it. And I always respect such thing. Part 10. PC users. This kind of a thing really bugs me actually. Because we all know that developers don't consider PC as gaming platform at all. I don't know what's their plan with PC owners, because it's good as consoles but even better in terms of hardware. But because we have such awful teams at Ubisoft, or even From Software, well, at least they admit that it will be bad. I can't see that PC community have a future at all. And with next-gen consoles coming out in next year, that really freaks me out. As I said earlier, I never claimed to be PC representative or consoles one. I always represent gamers as a whole community, and when I review games I always review them and not how bad port is. Well, if only it needs to be pointed out. Part 11. Sega. So what's the point of bringing these guys to this topic? You think I play Shogun Total War? Or maybe I play a lot of Sonic games? Or maybe Alien vs Predator titles? Well, I must say that I play some Sonic games. I also play some other stuff from them. My only problem with Sega is that they don't devote themselves fully to their products. I mean, take an example of last major Sonic game, Sonic Generations. It was awesome to play as two Sonics, even with poor plot, it was still enjoyable. But there was no DLC for it and no support to fix some bugs, and it was 20th anniversary of Sonic. Is that how you celebrate it? Making a horrible glitchy game with no support? Shame on you, Sonic team, shame on you, Sega. I don't know whole story of Sega, or were there any problems with them at all, but this bugs me very much. I just hope their new release will be better. Part 12. The end? Here it is, I finally come to the end of this video. For whole 30-35 minutes I was here bitching and plowing to all major game companies and developers I know by heart. You may say that I didn't cover exactly all of them, like 2K Games or Namco or Konami or something else. Well, let's just say there is not enough room to talk about all of them, and honestly I have no bad opinions on 2K Games at all, well, except for finally making this one. All in all, you now see full picture of what gaming community stands for in our dark times, but there is still bright light in the end of it. If we, community, will do our best to tell our beloved developers and publishers what to do and what shouldn't be done, I think we will eventually win. I never claim that I hate some companies, I only state that I don't like their attitude towards gamers and PC community. So I hope they'll learn from their mistakes. So with that said, I'm out of here.